Adam Reese is on our line from
Great.
the courthouse.
Lester, good afternoon. We all started at about 2:32 when the judge came in. Just prior to that, former President Trump entered the courtroom wearing a blue suit, a white shirt, and a red tie. He slowly walked past the reporters seated. He almost sort of ambled his way into the courtroom. He took his seat at the defense table in between his four attorneys. He was seated just in between his attorney, Susan Nichols, and Joe Tacopina. Todd Blanche, who was just added yesterday, was sitting at the end. He spoke on behalf of President Trump. Chris Conroy was the prosecutor, the assistant district attorney. He began by saying that there were 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. When he was asked, President Trump firmly said he pleads not guilty. The prosecutors handed over the indictment. They said it was unsealed at 1:30. In describing the indictment, they said that Mr. Trump tried to conceal a conspiracy and undermine the 2016 election, to identify and suppress negative information. This was covert and illegal payments at Mr. Trump's direction, directed to Michael Cohen, and the purpose was to suppress this affair and this negative information. He paid Cohen, and in doing so, he falsified those business records. He falsified it as cash. This was concealing another crime, a more serious crime. The prosecutor went on to say that Mr. Trump has made recent threatening emails and speeches, both directed at New York City, the courts here in New York, the justice system, and the district attorney's office. He said that these are irresponsible social media posts that threaten death and destruction and even World War III. He said that these public statements to the district attorney, which included a photo of him swinging a baseball bat towards the district attorney's head, was very concerning. They're concerned about this and what effect it will have on potential jurors and witnesses. But they said that this will not dissuade the office, and they're seeking a protective order regarding discovery materials. They're very concerned that some of the attorneys or some of this may be leaked, or that President Trump himself would use some of that discovery in a way that would compromise the potential trial. They began discussing conditions of release. They talked about how defense attorney Joe Tacopina had communications with Stormy Daniels, and that could present a conflict. In response, Todd Blanche, representing Mr. Trump, said that the people just spoke for 10 minutes. They haven't seen discovery. They talk about Michael Cohen, and Michael Cohen has been standing on the steps of this courthouse revealing all kinds of materials that will be relevant in the trial. Mr. Trump has sorry, I'm just being moved here. They say that Mr. Trump has responded forcefully and clearly. He's very upset, he's frustrated, and he believes that this is an injustice. The hearing is going on right now. The judge said that he's taking the rhetoric and the language he's using, and he's very concerned about it. Blanche then said, well, this is free speech. He talked about the investigator, Mark Pomerantz, who wrote specifics. I'm going to have to toss it back to you, Lester.